What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Tears Take. I am recapping The Real Housewives of Orange County, Season 19, Episode 9. It's called Life's a Beach, Then You Cry. So I am going to walk you through the main highlights of the episode. I'm going to give you my honest takes along the way, but I do want to hear from you. So drop your takes down below. And if you like my content, please subscribe. Please give me a like and watch some of my other videos. That would be greatly appreciated. Let's go ahead and dive in because we have a lot to talk about. So I don't know why Bravo consistently does this to me, that they open these episodes with my least favorite people. Why are we opening up with Emily? It's just like over in Miami. I swear 9 times out of 10, they're opening the episode with Julia. And I'm like, why? Anyway, so we open with Emily. She meets up with Gretchen. They are getting testosterone shots or pellets. So while they're at the appointment, Gretchen mentions that Tamra hugged her and thanked her for meeting up with Kiki. She's cautiously optimistic. I really want a dime of how many times someone was cautiously optimistic with Tamra. We can see how far they get and how much money I have. But anyway, they agreed to see where Tamara stands at the upcoming beach event. So in the next scene, Jen meets up with Katie. And mind you, this is the episode right after the lie detector test when Katie was kicked out of the party. Jen is visibly bothered and upset. She says in a confessional that she is now second guessing everything that Katie has said after she failed the lie detector test. Back in the scene, baby, Katie came with some receipts. So basically, she came to with printouts from the website of the lie detector guy, basically showing that he's a paid actor. The woman that he was with is also an actor. She's listed on his site. They can get hired to do a variety of things. This lie detector gig is just one of the many things that he does. And she said, I have printouts from this website. So basically, the lie detector guy is a fraud, which I believe came out a while ago. And we all know that lie detectors are not, they're like a pseudoscience. It's not anything definitive. You can't submit lie detector results to court and get a conviction based on it. So, in my eyes, even though Emily's the lawyer and should know that, it's kind of like, it's not reliable. So as they're talking, Katie is still saying that Jen was a part of the conversation and heard Gretchen when she made the claims about being drugged at the Naked Wasted dinner. And Jen is really not acknowledging it. She does not want to touch this with a 10-foot pole. She says that she's tired of getting roped into Katie's mess, and tells her that there's an accountability factor. And in a confessional, Jen says she doesn't remember Gretchen saying anything like that. And basically at the meetup, they kind of get to an impasse and there was really nowhere to go from there. So they kind of just parted ways. And it was so sad. I liked that friendship. It's really a shame that Jen sold out her friend like that. I think it's not even, I think she has said in, different interviews that there's too much heat on Katie. There's too much coming at Katie, and she just basically doesn't want to be associated with it. And you're just not a real friend. So, I'm not saying that Katie's a perfect victim, but Katie, Jen's doing you a favor by removing herself out of your life. That's all I'll say. So then we get to Gina, and her ex's new wife comes over. They're actually really cool. I always do a jump scare because I'm like, "Ooh, Kelly Dodd," and I'm like, "Oh wait, you're not." So it's scary how much she looks like her. So basically, they talk about how Matt had a recent heart attack and Britt took him to the hospital, and Gina is just thankful that she was there to basically save his life. And, now he's still around for his kids. Gina's thankful for a healthy dynamic with the two of them. Obviously, she doesn't have that with Travis's ex-wife or soon-to-be ex-wife. I can never remember if he's divorced or not. So anyway, in the next scene, Heather, Jen, and Tamara meet up Jenn shares what Katie said about the lie detector guy. Jenn says that she's glad Heather is there because the last meetup with Tamra did not go well. Tamra rattles off her usual BS about therapy, and Jenn tells her that you need to be consistent because you say that you're on this like growth path and you're on to these great things, but then you always revert back. And then manipulative Tamra says, oh, well, I only go that hard and I only go that deep with people I care about. What? That's straight up abuse right there. I only hurt you because I care about you. Like, say that slowly and see if that makes sense in your brain. I only hurt you so badly because I care about you so much. Yeah, that doesn't make sense. The more times I say it, it still doesn't make sense. You have a lot of issues, Tamra, and I don't know. I don't know if therapy is enough. You might need a prescription. You are not okay. That's really sick and abusive. So Tamra and Jenn agreed to move forward. Jen's not all in, but she says it's a step in the right direction. And then we're back with Emily. She meets up with Shannon and Gina. She says that Jenn called her and told her what Katie said. It's just like, damn, Jenn, you're just making your rounds, like going to like lick the boots of all the other girls in the in the group now that you detached yourself from Katie. So Emily says, in my defense, I couldn't have set this up. The women all came with their own questions, and it's not like I was trying to pinpoint anything on Katie because everyone had input on what they wanted to say to Katie and to the other women. Fine. So while they're talking, Luke calls Emily, and Emily shares that Luke doesn't listen. He's talking like a baby. She's frustrated and upset. And she basically says that like the problems with Luke and the like non-alignment of Shane and Emily of how to, get him help and how to support him through this. She said it's really starting to affect her marriage. So in a separate scene, Katie sits down with Matt and she's telling him that Jenn is protecting Gretchen and guesses that it's because of their mutual hate for Tamra. And I think that's a big part of it. I think it's a big part that Jenn is probably trying to get Gretchen on the show by any means necessary. Slade apparently does a lot of talking of, oh, I know this producer and I'm in with this guy and I text with that guy. So maybe he was over there promising Jenn, that I can hook you up. I can get you some favoritism with the producers. I think their hatred for Tamra is a piece as to why they're sticking together. I think there's some other things. There are other reasons why they stick together. But Jenn, I don't want to say anything about that race crap. So, I won't touch on that, but I think there are a few reasons at play why Jenn chose to stick by Gretchen and detach herself from Katie. So then Matt came with his own receipts. I love a family with receipts. I love a couple that's on the same page. So Matt comes with his receipts and he shows his call log of those few days of when the Naked Wasted story came out, and it's basically showing like how many times Slade called him, and he's like, yeah, if you think I'm just talking to Slade this often because I want to, nah, like that's what he pretty much said. So he basically shows a call log of Slade's like missed calls and basically Slade trying to get the story right and trying to make sure that Katie's on board to protect Gretchen. Side note, why is Katie listed in Matt's phone as my spicy Asian? That was a little weird. So Matt shows the text, but Slade's part of the text is blurred out. So it's like, damn, does Slade really have connections with the production team? Because why were his parts blurred out? But then we see how Matt responded. Shady. So Matt says that Slade essentially says that Gretchen was going to deny it and Katie needs to hold the line. And that's what Katie said in New Orleans. Matt then told Katie, and Katie agreed to stay aligned. Matt said that every time he hung out with Slade, he talked about he talks about how he started Housewives, and then we see a clip of Slade being delusional, saying, "Oh, I chose to walk away after season 2." And Andy's like, "No, girl, like you and Joe broke up, so there wasn't a place for you on the show." And Slade's like, "Oh, yeah, exactly." Oh my god, he is so. I forgot how like obnoxious he is. Like, I don't think I was ever on the like hate train of Slade, but oh my god, he's so unlikable. Like I try to watch an episode of him, a podcast episode of Gretchen and Slade. I lasted 2 minutes, and I probably fast forwarded the intro, so I probably only listened to like 30 seconds, and I was bored. Okay, so anyway. Okay, so back in the scene of Matt and Katie, Matt says that Gretchen and Slade tell the same stories to get people against the people who they don't like. That sounds believable because otherwise, why is this 15-year-old story coming out of nowhere? You can't talk about anything else. The pandemic is more recent than Naked Waist is. So how about we talk about something a little more recent? Like, let's at least talk about that, because why are you going back so far with people who didn't know you back then? Stupid. All right. Matt says that Slade and Gretchen were trying to bury Tamra, but instead ended up leaving Katie and Jenn out to dry. Katie says that she misses Jenn and she feels like an idiot, and she doesn't think that she's gonna be with like the rest of the group for ever. So it's the day of Jenn's beach event. She did not invite Katie. Tamra brings Joe. Gretchen says this shows Tamra's true colors. And it's like, how many times do you need to see that woman's true colors? Yeah, we've seen the true colors and they suck. Okay. So the ladies play some volleyball. And can I just say something? I'm so sick of Shannon like always falling over and just like, I don't know. I think she thinks that she's like in physical comedy or something, but she always does like these exaggerated falls and trips and slips. And it's like, we get it. It's annoying. Anyway, so they play volleyball, they all sit down and they start just kind of sharing some news of what's going on in their lives. So Heather shares that her daughter Kat got into Yale. Tamra shares that her daughter has her first boyfriend. And then weirdo Shannon has to be the Debbie Downer. And she says that her daughter got dumped recently and came home. And her daughter is about to arrive at the beach to join them. So Heather suggests that everyone shares good news. And Emily says that Shane's dad is out of the hospital. Gina's daughter won an award for being kind. Joe says that she's trying to have a baby with her husband. Britt is there, and that is Gina's ex's new wife, the Kelly Dodd lookalike. So Britt says, Matt is here, and she couldn't imagine her life without him. Jen says her and Tamra had a good talk. Then here comes Emily because she has nothing to do. She's like, oh, but what about Gretchen and Tamra? And I'm just like, you are so invested in this. Oh, you're annoying. So Tamra confronts Gretchen about saying that she went to the hospital, but then changing her story. And then Gretchen says that she misspoke. Oh my God. Okay, girl. So I don't know why Shannon didn't chime in, say, no, we talked about it some more. Like Shannon could have really helped that scene out, but she just stayed quiet to shut her up. And Gretchen says that Katie's lying. And then they walk to the side to talk. So Tamra wants to know why her name keeps getting brought up. And then Gretchen deflects and asks Tamra about Joe. Why is she here? Why did you invite her? Gretchen says that Gretchen asked Tamra if she has remorse about spreading about spreading gossip about Slade being a deadbeat, about Gretchen cheating on her fiance. And then Tamra claps back and she says, well, you called my husband gay. Your boyfriend called me fat. And I'm just like, dear Lord, like again, these things happened years ago. And if you guys just bump heads too much and you decide like, this is too hard, I don't want to be friends with you, that's okay. You don't have to be friends, right? So, because they're going tit for tat, Gretchen apologizes for reaching out to Sydney. Tamra just wants Gretchen to move forward and stop bringing up the past. But Gretchen says that she needs Tamra to acknowledge the hurtful things that she has said. And then Gretchen says, "Did you know that the things that you say have prevented Slade from getting a job? You can't make any of this up." So Tamra apologizes about the jobs, and Gretchen agrees to move forward. So then they come back to the group. They're holding hands. They're happy. And then Shannon's mad at this point because now she's the only one that's mad at Tamra or on the outs with Tamra. So when they come back to the table, they all just go around and they talk about, and at this point, Shannon's daughter is there. So just to cheer her up, they all went around and said like crazy breakup stories that they had. And that was it. Then after that, we see the mid-season trailer. There's more coming up about Shannon's drinking. Tamra and Gretchen fall out, shocker. And the group calls out Heather for being Tamra's little puppet. So looks like it's going to be a pretty good rest of this season. Yeah, so let me know what you thought about this episode. Please comment, please like, subscribe. I would appreciate it. Let me know if I missed anything or if you are having some of the same reactions and takes as I am. As always, I will see you in the next video. Mwah. Bye.